Every time it's time to check out at the grocery store, my husband pretends to get a call and walks away. This time, I taught him a lesson he'll never forget. Every time the cashier starts ringing up the items, Jason's phone rings, right on time. "Oh, honey, I need to answer this," and he's gone, leaving Lauren to pay. But not this time. She has a plan that will make Jason wish he'd paid with his card. My husband Jason is hardworking, funny, and remembers our anniversary without a phone reminder. But he has a habit that drives me crazy. Every time we go shopping, Jason suddenly gets a very important call at the exact moment we reach the checkout. Like clockwork. It's almost impressive how consistent it is. "Honey, I need to get this," he says and walks away, leaving me with a full basket and a rather large sum to pay. The first few times I hardly paid attention. In the beginning I thought that in marriage you have to make concessions sometimes, right? But after the 10th phone call, which came just when I was supposed to pay, I began to notice a pattern. "Who was that?" I asked one day when Jason returned just as I was loading groceries into the car. "Oh, it was just a work call," he replied, avoiding my gaze. "Thanks for paying. Next time I'll pay." Spoiler, he didn't pay next time. Last Saturday, there was a moment that was the last straw. We had to buy almost everything: cleaning supplies, food for a week, those expensive coffees he wanted. When we got to the checkout, I started counting in my head. 3, 2, 1. BZZZ. BZZZ. Jason's hand instantly flew to his pocket as if he had been electrocuted. "Jason," I started, but he immediately interrupted me. "Honey, I need to get this, work." I watched him as he headed for the exit, nodding like he was on an important work call. I continued putting items on the conveyor belt. The cashier, an older woman with kind eyes, looked at me, then at Jason, and we exchanged knowing glances. One of those, "Girl, I see what he's doing," looks. Was it that obvious? Did she notice his pathetic little trick too? My face turned red with shame, but quickly turned to anger when I saw the final amount, $347.92. The cashier handed me the check with a sympathetic smile. I couldn't sleep that night. The more I thought about Jason's behavior, the more my irritation turned to determination. Jason lay snoring next to me, completely unaware of the plan already brewing in my head. And then I had a brilliant idea on how to put an end to this once and for all. The next morning, when Jason was deeply asleep, I took his phone. I had no intention of interfering in his personal life. We trust each other, despite his excuses at the checkout. No, I had another plan. I opened his contacts and found my name. A few clicks and I changed it to Bank Card Fraud Department. Then she carefully returned the phone to its place. With a smile, she jumped back into bed. The trap was set, and Jason would soon learn what it meant to pay for purchases. The next morning we went through our usual routine: lazy Saturday morning, breakfast, and then a trip to the store. We walked around the store, picking out everything we needed, plus a few extra treats, snacks, ice cream, and the whole grain pasta he wanted. The basket filled quickly, and finally we reached the checkout. "Do we really need 3 different types of chips?" I asked, trying to contain my irritation, even though my heart was already beating faster with excitement. "Absolutely," Jason replied seriously. "They have different functions. These are for movies, these are for sandwiches, and those are for late-night snacking." I rolled my eyes but couldn't help but laugh. It was one of the things I loved about him, despite his annoying checkout habits. "Chipsologist," I said. We approached the checkout, and I waited for his hand to reach for his pocket again. It was time to launch the trap. I easily pressed the button on my smartwatch, and immediately. BZZZ. BZZZ. Jason's eyes lit up when he heard the familiar sound. He immediately pulled out his phone and headed for the exit. "Oh, honey, I need to get this, work," but he suddenly stopped when he saw "Credit Card Fraud Unit" on the screen. I looked at him as his face turned pale. His eyes became wide with fear. You don't want to answer? I asked naively. It seems important. He looked slowly at his phone, then at me, then at the register behind us. Now everyone was looking at us. Lauren, this is, he said, holding the phone high, his hands shaking as he showed me the screen. Just pick up the phone, I said, leaning forward and pressing the answer button. I had already recorded a message and installed an app on my phone that would call Jason when I pressed the right button on my smartwatch. I thought of everything except how much I would regret not recording his face when my pre-recorded voice came through his phone. Hi Jason, we've noticed some suspicious activity on your account. Specifically, you always seem to be picking up your phone when you're supposed to be paying at the register. Jason's jaw dropped and his face turned as red as the tomatoes in our basket. The cashier coughed slightly. The couple behind us started laughing. I watched as Jason couldn't look me in the eye. Time to finish shopping. For the first time in months, Jason pulled out his card and paid for his purchases. $389.76. I couldn't help but notice the cashier, the same woman as before, giving me a subtle thumbs up. Need help with the bags, sir? She asked with a fake sweet smile. No, I can handle it, he muttered and grabbed all the bags he could carry. The drive home was quiet. Jason was gripping the wheel so tightly his knuckles were white. I looked out the window, trying not to laugh. Finally, as we pulled up to the house, he spoke. That was deep, Lauren. I looked at him and made an innocent face. Oh, really? Deeper than all your disappearances when you had to pay? Jason opened his mouth, but then closed it again. What could he say? He was exposed. How long have you been planning this? He finally asked as we unloaded the groceries. No longer than it took you to plan your tricks at the cash register, I replied. I didn't plan them, he protested weakly. They just happened that way. Every time. At the checkout? Like clockwork? He had enough dignity to feel awkward. Okay, maybe I was a little avoidant about it. Maybe? I laughed. Jason, you made checkout evasion an Olympic sport. Jason felt guilty. I'm sorry, he said seriously. It was stupid. I don't even know why I did it. I shrugged. Everyone has their quirks. But maybe next time you'll pick someone who won't leave you with a full check. Literally. And you know what? From that day on, Jason never used that trick again. In fact, he now insists on paying when we go to the store. Sometimes he even takes his phone and puts it on the counter, as if to prove something. But I keep my smartwatch charged. Just in case he decides to try his luck again. Write in the comments what you think about the heroes of our story and subscribe to our channel.